Have you ever felt something strange in your body, but did all the tests say that everything was normal? A tiredness that does not go away, a sensibility that came out of nowhere, a weight that appears whenever you force something that was once normal. What if I told you that this is not a disease, it's not stress, and isn't it weakness? It is the body reacting to a change that has already happened in your consciousness, because the body does not react to what you seek. It reacts to what you have already become. When the frequency changes, the body becomes the first to notice, and the symptom you're experiencing right now may be the clearest proof that you're no longer who you were. If this touched you, stay with me, because in the next few minutes you'll understand what your body is trying to tell you. Have you ever stopped to think about why your medical exams keep going normal, but your body insists on screaming that something is going on? While everyone tells you that everything is fine, you feel in your skin, literally, that something has changed. And look, you can prepare your heart, because what I'm going to reveal to you now goes against everything you've been taught about health. That causeless tingling, that pressure in the head that no neurologist can explain, that insomnia that always hits at the same time in the morning, none of this is a disease. In fact, they are the clearest signs that your vibrational frequency has already changed levels, and your physical body is running desperately to keep up with this evolution. Conventional medicine won't admit this because their devices simply weren't programmed to measure spiritual ascension. But there are 5 specific physical symptoms that give away when you no longer vibrate at the same frequency as before. And if you identify at least 2 of them now, it means that your cellular recalibration has already begun, whether you want to or not. Comment there the number of symptoms you recognize in yourself at that exact moment. It may be just 1, it may be 5. This number will show you what stage of your transformation you are in. You know that strange feeling that appears out of nowhere and makes you question if there's something wrong with you, like when your hands start to tingle without you having slept on them, or when your heart races even though you're quiet on the couch. Well, a lot of people rush to the emergency room thinking they're having some, but then he gets there, does electro, measures pressure, draws blood, and the doctors look at you with that face of everything is normal here, see? But the physical symptom is still there, disturbing, making you feel a little crazy. Now, what if I tell you that this has nothing to do with anxiety or psychological illness? What happens is that your body is undergoing such a profound transformation that conventional medicine still can't measure it on its devices. It's like when you plug a 220-volt appliance into a 110-volt outlet. It's going to be a problem, right? For then, when your vibrational frequency begins to change, when you are entering a process of real awakening, your physical body needs to adjust to this new spiritual voltage. And while he doesn't completely recalibrate, these symptoms will appear to let you know that there's something big going on under the hood. There are people who spend years wandering from office to office, accumulating reports of normal exams, spending a fortune on specialists. And you know what's most curious? The more you look for a physical cause for these symptoms, the more they seem to intensify. It's as if the universe is trying to push you to look in another direction, you know? Because sometimes the answer is not in the scalpel or the pill. It is in the understanding that you are not just flesh and blood. You are energy, vibration, consciousness moving through this dense little body that we call matter. The most fascinating thing is that these symptoms follow a very specific pattern among people who are going through spiritual ascension. It's no coincidence when someone reports tingling in their extremities shortly after they start meditating seriously, or when another person feels intense pressure on their forehead after a transformative experience. These body signals are like the lights on the car's dashboard turning on. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have a serious defect, but that it's time to pay attention to what's happening with the machine. And when you understand that there is a whole process of cellular evolution going on inside you right now, look, I know exactly what you're going through because I've seen hundreds of people in the same situation. You made an appointment with the general practitioner who sent you to the cardiologist, who asked for an electrocardiologist and a 24-hour Holter monitor. Then you went to the neurologist too, did an MRI of the head, a complete blood test with everything that is vitamin. And you know what the result of all this was? Absolutely normal. The doctors look at you with that awkward smile and say, "But you're great, your exams are so perfect." But when you leave the office, the symptom is still there, faithful as a dog, accompanying you everywhere. And the worst of all is not even the physical discomfort, let's agree. The worst thing is that feeling that no one believes you, that maybe you're making this up in your head. Even you yourself start to doubt your own sanity sometimes, right? Because how can it be real if no test detects anything? Then comes that annoying uncle at Sunday lunch saying, this is freshness, it's lack of what to do. And you stay there, swallowing hard, because you have no way to prove that that migratory pain through the body or that ringing in the ear are real. But they are, see? They are real as hell, and so affecting your quality of life in a way that only those who pass by know. There is a story that I always remember of a woman who spent almost a year of her life in this search for answers. She woke up at 3 in the morning with her heart racing, in a cold sweat, with a pressure in her head that felt like she was going to explode. She went to 5 different specialists, endocrinologist thinking it was thyroid, psychiatrist prescribing antidepressants, even acupuncturists she tried. Nothing explained that. And do you know when it finally made sense to her? When she realized that these episodes began exactly 2 weeks after she had a deep spiritual awakening on a trip she took alone. It was like a penny that dropped. Her body was recalibrating to a totally new frequency. So if you're feeling misunderstood, if you're tired of hearing that there's nothing, I want you to know something important. The absence of a medical diagnosis does not mean the absence of a real symptom. It only means that traditional medicine has not yet developed instruments capable of measuring energetic vibration or ongoing cellular evolution. It's like trying to measure love with a thermometer. The equipment just wasn't made for that. And when you understand that there is a whole dimension of your health that goes beyond what appears in laboratory tests, now comes the part that will make everything start to fit in your head. Do you know when you move house and take all your electronic devices, but then you find out that the voltage is different? If you plug a 110-volt device into a 220 outlet, it may even work at first, but soon it starts to have a problem. It gets too hot, makes strange noises, sometimes even burns out. Well, that's exactly what happens to your body when your vibrational frequency goes up a level. Your physical body, which has been accustomed to operating at a certain vibration for years, suddenly needs to adapt to a completely new voltage. And while this recalibration is not over, the symptoms appear as signs that the wiring is being changed. Science has known for decades that everything in the universe is vibration. From the tiniest atom to the most distant galaxy, everything pulsates at a specific frequency. Your body is no different. Every cell of yours vibrates at a certain rate. Now imagine this. When you go through a deep awakening process, when your consciousness expands and you begin to see life in a totally different way, your energetic frequency literally changes channels. It's like you jumped from FM to AM, you know? But your cells, your organs, your nervous system, all of that was programmed to work at that old frequency. So there has to be a complete reprogramming, a cellular evolution, and this does not happen overnight. There is a researcher that I follow who did a fascinating experiment with water. He exposed water samples to different sound frequencies and photographed the crystals that formed. When the frequency was low, the crystals became deformed, ugly. When the frequency went up, The crystals were perfectly symmetrical, beautiful. Now remember that your body is 70% water. That's that. When your vibration rises, literally the water within you begins to rearrange itself into a different pattern. Your tissues, your cells, everything needs to be restructured to keep up with this new frequency. And while all this molecular dance is going on, you feel it. Feel it in the tingling, in the pressure, in the pains that appear and disappear without medical explanation. The most incredible thing is that this is not cheap mysticism or the talk of a quantum coach who has read half a dozen books. There is a real scientific basis in all this, but conventional medicine has not yet joined the dots. They look at the body as a mechanical machine, but they forget that we are also walking electromagnetic fields. When your frequency changes, whether by deep meditation, by a loss that has transformed you, by a sudden spiritual awakening, your electromagnetic field changes with it. And then your heart, which works with electrical impulses, starts beating differently. Your brain, which is pure electricity as well, begins to process information in a different way. And while all of that fits into this giant recalibration, so let's get straight to the point, because now you need to know how to identify these signs in your own body. The first physical symptom that appears in almost everyone who is going through ascension is that tingling or numbness that doesn't make any sense. It's not because you slept on top of your arm or sat cross-legged too long. It is a tingling that comes out of nowhere, usually in the hands, feet. Sometimes it goes up the arms, as if there was an electric current passing through your veins. Some describe it as if thousands of needles were poking at the skin from the inside. This is literally your nervous system recalibrating itself to conduct a higher frequency of energy. It's the wiring being changed. Remember the voltage analogy. The second symptom that takes many people by surprise is that intense pressure on the forehead, right in the middle of the eyebrows, where the third eye is. It seems that someone is squeezing your head tightly, or as if there is a weight there that does not come off at all. Sometimes it is accompanied by a migrating headache. Sometimes it is in the back of the neck. Sometimes it is in the temples. Sometimes it seems that the whole brain is throbbing. The doctors ask for tomography, MRI, complete neurological exams, and find no unknown cause in the reports. But what's really happening is that your higher energy centers are being activated. Your pineal gland is waking up after years of sleeping, and that creates real physical pressure as these structures expand to accommodate the new vibration. Third on the list comes the brutal changes in sleep patterns. Suddenly, you who have slept like a stone all your life start to wake up every single day between 2 and 4 in the morning, turned on, with your mind racing 1,000 per hour. Or you roll over with fatigue at 8 at night and wake up at 3 in the morning without being able to go back to sleep. There are people who develop a heavy spiritual insomnia. They lie in bed exhausted, but the body simply does not turn off. It is in such a high vibration that sleep does not come. And look how curious, usually in these moments of insomnia is when the deepest insights, the most transformative ideas come, as if your conscience was taking advantage of the fact that you are quiet to download new information. Your body is literally adjusting its circadian rhythms to a different rhythm, more aligned with cosmic frequencies than with the clock of society. The fourth symptom that almost no one associates with ascension is that exaggerated sensitivity to external stimuli. You go to a mall and leave devastated, as if you had run a marathon. Fluorescent lights begin to bother your eyes in a way they never have before. Noises that everyone ignores, like the hum of the refrigerator or the ticking of the clock, are deafening to you. Crowds then, not to mention, you absorb the energy of everyone around you and come out drained, needing 2 days to recover. And the fifth symptom, this is classic. Pain that appears in one place. You treat, improve, but then migrate to another corner of the body without any logic. Sometimes it's the knee, in a little while it's the shoulder, then it goes down to the back. Doctors don't find inflammation, they don't find injury. The exams are always normal. But these pains are real, and so mapping exactly the points of your body where there is energy blockage being dissolved while you go through this giant cellular evolution. Now the moment of truth has arrived, that moment when you will be able to distinguish once and for all if what is happening to you is really a symptom of ascension, or if it is something that needs urgent medical attention. And look, this distinction is super important because we can't keep spiritualizing everything and ignoring real signs that there's something wrong in the physical body, okay? So pay attention to this question I'm going to ask now because it's the key to unraveling this whole mystery. Think about it. Did this symptom that is bothering you appear after some significant event in your life? Like after you started to really meditate, after a painful loss that completely transformed you, after a relationship that ended and forced you to reinvent yourself? Because look how interesting it is. The symptoms of ascension never come from nothing, from emptiness. They always appear linked to some radical change of consciousness or some deep spiritual awakening. There was a girl who told me that she started to feel that tingling in her hands right after she had a mystical experience during a walk in nature. Another person reported that the pressure on her head began exactly the week after her father's death, when she had deep insights into the meaning of life. Do you see the pattern? Frequency does not change on its own. It changes in response to something that has expanded your consciousness abruptly. It's as if the universe had given you a forced upgrade in the software, and now the hardware is running behind to keep up with this new version. Now, if the symptom appeared out of nowhere, with no connection to significant internal or external changes, then that's another conversation. If you were leading the same life as always, with the same routine, same thoughts, same beliefs, and suddenly started to feel something strange in your body, then yes, my friend, run to the doctor who probably has a physical cause. But if you stop to analyze honestly and realize that yes, there was that retreat that moved you, or that difficult phase that forced you to question everything, or that book you read and changed your worldview completely, and the symptoms started right away, then there is your answer. Your body is recalibrating to vibrate at the same frequency that your consciousness has already reached. And there's another super revealing detail that helps in this validation test. Ascension symptoms tend to be intermittent and migratory, you know? Like it shows up strong for a few days, then disappears completely, then it comes back somewhere else. The symptoms of physical illness, on the other hand, are usually more constant, progressive, and follow a logical pattern. So if you notice that the discomfort comes in waves, that there are days when you wake up at zero and others when you wake up with everything, that the symptom seems to respond to your spiritual practices. It improves when you meditate. It gets worse when you are very energetically dense. Then congratulations, you have just confirmed that you are not sick. You are evolving, and your physical body is running this marathon of adaptation to be able to sustain the new vibration you have conquered. Take a deep breath now, because I'm going to tell you something that will take a huge weight off your back. Your body isn't sick, are you listening? He's not failing, he's not cheating on you, he's not collapsing. What's happening is just the opposite. It's evolving. It's turning into a more refined, more subtle version, more aligned with who you really are. It's like when you upgrade your phone and it gets a little slow for a few days while you install everything, reorganize the files, adjust the settings. Your physical body is going through this process now, but at a cellular, molecular, energetic level. Every cell of yours is being reprogrammed to operate at a higher frequency, and that's cause for celebration, not panic. But look, and this is very important, so pay attention. Recognizing that you are going through spiritual ascension does not mean that you can ignore conventional medicine, okay? Quite the opposite. The first thing you need to do when any physical symptom appears is to go to the doctor, Do the tests, rule out real organic causes. Because there are people who spiritualize thyroiditis, or you ignore a vitamin B12 deficiency, thinking it's just energy. So the right order is this. First, you investigate responsibly on the physical plane, do the complete checkup, listen to what the experts have to say. Only after 3-4 doctors told you that the exams are so normal and have no identifiable unknown cause, then you can safely consider that what is happening is ascension. There was a case of a young man who began to have intense palpitations and was soon playing on the account of spiritual awakening. Luckily, his sister insisted that he have a complete cardiac checkup because they discovered an arrhythmia that needed treatment. After he treated the arrhythmia, then the more subtle symptoms that continued, like tingling and increased sensitivity, these were from the energetic recalibration. Do you see how the two planes can coexist? You can have a real physical issue and be going through spiritual evolution at the same time. It's not one or the other. It can be both. That is why I insist so much. Medical responsibility first, spiritual recognition second. That way you are safe on both levels. And do you know what is most liberating in this whole understanding? It's just that when you finally understand that you're going through a profound transformation, that your body is adapting to a new vibration, you stop fighting the symptoms and start working with them. You learn to rest when the body asks you to hydrate more because water helps conduct the new frequency, to respect spiritual insomnia instead of forcing sleep with medicine. You begin to see every discomfort as a sign of progress, not a problem. And then, equipped with this expanded awareness of what's really going on with you, knowing that it's not disease, but cellular evolution in progress. So now, I want you to do something very important for us here. Go to the comments and tell me which of these symptoms you are feeling right now, at this very moment in your life. It could be the tingling that appears out of nowhere. It could be that pressure in the head that doctors can't explain. It could be the insomnia that hits every day at the same time. And along with the symptom, tell us when it started, after what event, after what transformation in your life. Because look, there's an absurd force when we realize that we're not alone on this journey, When you read someone else's account describing exactly what you feel and that no one around you can understand, something changes inside you. I know that sometimes there is that fear of exposing yourself, that shame of admitting that you are feeling weird things that the exams do not detect. You are afraid that they will call you crazy, that they will say that you are freshness or that you are inventing symptoms to get attention. But here in this community, it's different, Here, everyone understands why everyone has gone through or is going through something similar. There's no judgment. There's no crooked look. There's not that stupid joke that people make when they don't understand what you're experiencing. Here, there is acceptance. There is validation. There are people who will read your comment and think, "Damn, I thought it was just me." And you know what happens when you put into words what you're feeling? When do you name the symptom? Describe when it started. Share your experience. You literally take the power of fear away from you. Because while it's all stored inside your head, kind of nebulous, kind of scary, it feels bigger than it really is. But when you externalize, when you throw it out and see other people answering, "I feel it too," what seemed like a giant monster becomes a natural step in a process that thousands of people are going through with you. It's like turning on the light in a dark room. What seemed threatening was just normal furniture waiting to be recognized. So go ahead. Don't just watch quietly. Comment there which physical symptom is most intense for you now and when you realize that it started. It can be a short sentence, it can be a long text telling your whole story. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that you allow yourself to be part of this support network. Because the more people share, the more data we have to map these ascension patterns, the stronger the collective understanding of what is really happening to humanity at this moment. And when you realize that your individual experience is part of a global awakening, that you're not crazy, but rather awakening along with a lot of people around the entire planet. So now answer me one thing with total honesty. Are you going to continue ignoring these signals that your body is sending you? Or are you going to finally accept that you are going through a gigantic transformation? Because look, knowledge without action is worth nothing. It's like having the treasure map in your hand and sitting at home complaining that you're poor. You've just found out that you're not sick, that you're not crazy, that your body is literally evolving to sustain a higher frequency. So what are you going to do with this information? Will you start respecting what your body asks? Will you stop forcing old patterns on a new version of you? Or will you continue to fight against the current? Think with me. 6 months or a year from now, do you want to still be in this anguish of not understanding what happens to you? Or do you want to be completely aligned with your new vibration, living in harmony with this body that is recalibrating? The choice is yours. It always has been. But let me tell you a truth that hurts. If you don't honor this ascension process that has already begun in you, if you continue to treat the symptoms as enemies instead of messengers, you will stop this whole evolution. And then you will be stuck in a limbo. You no longer vibrate at the old frequency because your consciousness has already expanded. But you cannot fully anchor in the new frequency because you are resisting the process. Now, if you really want to dive deep into this universe of spiritual ascension, if you want to understand every detail of this transformation that is happening to you and to millions of people around the world, then subscribe here to the channel now. And it activates that notification bell because I post content every week unraveling these processes that no one explains to you out there. There's so much more for you to discover about how to work for your evolution instead of against it, about how to accelerate this recalibration consciously and safely, about the next stages that come after these 5 physical symptoms. You didn't get here by chance. Your body brought you to this video because you're ready for this turning point. So take advantage of this moment, subscribe, activate notifications, and come be part of this community of people who are waking up together. Because alone is more difficult, but when you walk with those who understand what you are experiencing, everything is lighter. Your new frequency is waiting for you. You just need to stop resisting and start flowing.